Hello, everyone. This is Annie Bradley, and I'm getting my master's degree in curriculum and assessment with the endorsement in STEM. And I'm a third grade teacher at Palmyra Area School District. So the purpose of my action research was I started with the problem that was getting my students fluent in their multiplication facts during this school day. And that was a problem for me because specifically in third grade, multiplication and fact fluency is such a foundational skill for the rest of the year. Everything we do in math builds on multiplication. So it's really critical that they get fluency down in multiplication. And I was just hoping to learn more about the action research process, as well as how to analyze data and share data with other people and my colleagues. My main research question that I came up with was, what are the effects of using daily fact-based applications, Study Island and Extra Math, on student multiplication, application, and fluency in a third grade classroom? So I really looked at different literature sources that had to do with using the iPad or other forms of technology in assistance with math, or how that aided with fluency across the board in students. So the first study I looked at was by Musty, Rayo, and Platti, and that was in 2015. And they found that iPad interventions may improve math fluency more than traditional paper pencil methods. Their results showed significantly higher results using iPad intervention on fluency tests, and also in a survey, parents and teachers both preferred using technology over paper and pencil, which I also think is an important aspect of fluency, is that people actually enjoy doing it. If they enjoy doing it, they'll be more motivated to succeed versus if they don't like doing it. My second study was really great for me just because the population was a third grade class, and it specifically looked at multiplication fluency. So this study said that using technology regularly in the classroom during mathematics compared to irregularly may improve scores on students' math tests. And this was a study completed in 2012 by Kiger, Hero, and Prunty. So they found that using daily technology had kids answer more items correctly on their post-intervention multiplication test than those who did not. So in this particular study, the experimental group used applications during math. So they used a whole list of applications such as Prodigy. They did use Study Island. And the control group used standard methods such as flashcards or multiplication games. So they did not use technology regularly. This also resulted in students scoring higher than on double-digit multiplication tests down the road, which is also a great effect. And then there were more than 3 studies that I looked at, but these were kind of the most important studies. So the last study was completed in 2012 again by Burns, Knive, and DeGrande. And their study suggests that computer-delivered intervention in math may help improve math achievement in struggling learners. So they looked at the lowest achieving students in their grade, so students who really struggled learning math. And then they had interventions using different iPad applications to help with their math daily. And they found that the intervention group had a larger increase in their STARS math scores, which is what they were using to track their data, than the control group. So these scores were significantly high for these lower achieving students. So I think they started all scoring below 25% on these tests, which is low, but we know they were the lower achieving students. And then after they had the intervention, all of the students scored at least above 47%. So still low, but significant growth for low achieving students, which is great. So the design that I used is students used multiplication focused iPad applications during Math Centers Daily. And these were the Extra Math and Study Island applications, which Extra Math is a free application, and then Study Island our district pays for. But I then collected the data from these applications and analyzed it. And I also gave students pre and post tests for 3 consecutive weeks to track their growth and multiplication. So you can see this is what the post test looked like. So every day I'd give them 3 minutes to complete one section. So we do the first one at the beginning of the week, and then the 2 in the middle would just be practice, and then the last one would be done at the end of the week, and they would actually track their growth. So what they started with compared to what they ended with. So going into my findings, this was the Extra Math findings, and the blue represents the pretest. So this is right when they started Extra Math with multiplication, and you can see like their baseline where they started at. And then the red was the current data I pulled from where they currently were, because we're still doing it in class even though the research is technically over. But you can see all students made growth, which is awesome. The mean growth was 11.68%, which is pretty good from week 1 to week 3. The greatest growth was 54%. And you can see I did have one student then master their multiplication, and the least amount of growth I had was 1%. My Study Island findings. So Study Island is all based on the standards, the Common Core standards. So the class made 76.9% growth with the model and multiplication, and 77.5% growth with multiplication properties. The sample size was good for modeling multiplication, which means almost all my students participated in that. But with the multiplication properties, there was minimal data, which may affect the validity of growth for the standards listed, just because only a few students got to that anchor. And then my findings for my pre and my post test. So my week 1 growth was strong. It showed that the mean was 21% growth, which is awesome. Only 5 out of 19 students showed 0 or negative growth for week 1. And then my week 2 growth was also strong, 22.5% growth, and there was only 1 out of 19 students who showed negative growth for week 2, which is awesome. My week 3 findings were not as strong. So the mean, unfortunately, was 0% growth. 1 out of 19 students showed 0 growth, and 4 showed negative growth. 9 students showed 0 growth, and 4 showed negative growth for week 3. However, this could be due to the fact of mastery. So I had students getting 100% on their pretest and their post-test, so there would be no growth for any of those students. And you can see the students who made no growth, so that means they were getting 100% the beginning and the end. So the conclusions that I can draw are that my findings suggest that application fact-based practice, including Extra Math and Study Island, does improve students' overall fact fluency and multiplication. There were limited access to the applications just because I had not every student can get on every application during math every single day, and I believe that that did limit the growth and achievement to become fluent. So in the future, if they had more time to get on each app, or I made time in each day for them to get on each app, I think that that would increase findings. And then some students were also absent and unable to make up the time that was missed on the applications, so that also could affect the findings and results. Lastly, I learned how to implement, analyze, and to share findings when conducting action research, and I learned that it can easily be implemented into your daily teaching role. Moving forward, I would just continue to conduct action research since I learned that it can be done easily, and we're actually mandated to do it for our school, so it's really nice that I kind of learned how to do that in a way that doesn't have to put more stress on me. And then I just want to share my findings with my colleagues in order to improve fact fluency for other students and in other grades in my school. So that was my research project overall. Hopefully you learned a lot and my findings can help you in your classroom. Thanks.